Why you should have a massive ego like Yoichi Isagi. Yes, you heard it right. Ego is not a bad thing to have. Because of their ego, the world's most influential people have risen to their positions. They pride themselves on being the best and not submitting to anyone. I had never given it much attention, but watching Bluelock, I was confident that ego truly did make you a king. It has the potential to be your most powerful motivator. Do you still not believe me? Then join me today as I show you how I used 3 major steps to build my ego and better myself, just like the protagonist of Bluelock, Yoichi Isagi. Step 1. Realize the need for ego. You've probably forgotten, but Isagi started at the absolute bottom. Shortly after arriving at Bluelock, we learned that he is ranked 299 out of 300 players. Consider how dreadful it must have felt to be in a room with 300 other people and be told you're the second worst. The sensation doesn't go away throughout the next few episodes, as he watches everyone else showcase their talents, while he's just there, unable to accomplish anything noteworthy. That's what makes the scenario that follows so effective. With the clock ticking down and Isagi's entire career about to go, his despair and desperation rise. But when the perfect opportunity he'd been waiting for presents itself, he realizes something that will define his character from then on. If I don't beat someone stronger than me, nothing will change. This is the first step of his development. Most of us do the opposite and set low objectives, like leaving our schoolwork for the day before it's due, results in only you attaining that low goal, even if you're capable of more. For example, if you only plan to run 3K, even if you can run 7, you will only run 3 rather than 7. Similarly, if Isagi's only goal had been to be the best player on his Sunday League squad, he would not have gotten any farther, even though he is capable of reaching the national level. However, there is more to it than that. Indeed, the essential aspect of this is Isagi's realization that if he wants to change, he can't return to his former habits. As he says, "At this rate, I'll be the same as I was before." If you want to change something, you must alter something. But it's something we do all the time. We fantasize about becoming in shape, but never go to the gym or eat healthier. We wish we could sleep more, but don't go to bed earlier. Isagi's rejection of the excellent chance presented by an injured player demonstrates his complete acceptance of the adage that challenge is necessary for change. He will not improve if he continues to take the easy road and will not survive Bluelock. This understanding marks the beginning of his transformation. Instead of stepping aside and safely clearing the round, Isagi chooses to swing a volley at whom he may consider his very first opponent. Isagi advances to the next round, but more significantly, he shows himself that he isn't as weak as he imagined. However, before we move on, I'd like to briefly touch on his other realization, that he can't continue to be this goody two-shoes if he wants to get anywhere. Many people will never put themselves before others, and Isagi appears to have been one of them before coming to Bluelock. While being unselfish is admirable, there are times when you should prioritize yourself and be as good to yourself as you are to others. Step 2. Awaken. Bluelock's Chapter 31 was a fantastic lesson in awakening your true self. Ego wonders if Henry understands what an awakening is, and she imagines obtaining superpowers. According to Ego, awakening is a puzzle that happens on top of accumulated thoughts and experiences, the product of cumulative failures and trial-and-error approach. Even when confronted with the ultimate challenge and struggling to overcome it, the jumbled bits of success fit into place and ego blossoms. Awakening is the moment when you realize who you indeed are. Your ideas, I believe, are the first step towards awakening. The thoughts you have are crucial to your awakening. Understanding yourself is the most powerful information, and understanding yourself begins with knowing your thoughts. Your mind is simply a collection of your thoughts. Because your ideas and interpretations of situations immediately influence your beliefs, and eventually your actions and thoughts have immense ability to shape your life and the lives of others. Whether you think you can or cannot, you're right, Henry Ford once stated. In other words, you get what you think. That is why you must understand your own thinking. You attract whatever you are continually thinking about, for better or worse. If you're constantly wondering why you can't seem to get a break, when the next shoe will drop in your relationships, or why you don't get as much recognition as your coworker, you're training your mind and others around you to make these notations your reality. Negative thoughts are roadblocks on the route to reaching your best. Thankfully, the opposite is also true. You may construct a vision of future achievement on the walls of your mind if you constantly and consciously foster good thoughts and expectations. Step 3. Evolve. Once you have awakened your ego, change yourself and mimic what you want to be, in terms of how they act or dress. and see the effect right away in the last episode of the series, where Isagi is facing off against the top player. All this time, Isagi continued to learn from those around him. He progressed from being the worst player on the floor in the previous match to the MVP of this one. In this match, he is an utter monster, playing so well that Baro, whom Isagi once feared and viewed as entirely out of reach, has an internal crisis as a result of Isagi completely outclassing him. Isagi is no longer attempting to avoid Bluelock, he is now a strong contender for it. Everything changed when he recognized, "I'm not special." Isagi's third step is an expansion of that. It's finally time for the long-awaited rematch with Rin after winning this bout and adding Chigiri to the team. Thanks to everything Isagi's crew has learned, things are different this time. While there's no denying Rin is the finest player on the field, he no longer appears invincible and unbeatable. This time, they can fight back against him. They start to pick up some tiny victories. Nagi uses great talent to go by him and score, and Baro's new evil playstyle undermines Rin's grip on the game to gain another. Most significantly, even though they were unable to stop Rin's initial single attack, Isagi recognizes that he understands everything Rin is doing this time. Rin, whom Isagi thought was unbeatable, may be defeated. Despite this, he continues to mistrust himself. Throughout the game, he tells himself he can't quite catch Rin. And to be honest, it's impossible to blame him. Despite some minor successes over Rin, he continues to dominate the field, regularly shutting off Isagi's plays. The score is now 4-3, and one more goal will see Isagi's loss to Rin once more. But you already know what happens next. Using his second step, he recognizes that Rin is as human as he is, and that anything Rin can do, Isagi can accomplish as well, even though the match didn't end in his favor. We learn that it is okay to give yourself some damn credit. You're probably not just doing far better than you realize, but you're also entirely capable of reaching your goals. Let's take a peek at how far Isagi has progressed. He's gone from being the second worst player to beating progressively stronger and stronger opponents, who all seem out of reach at first, to become one of Bluelock's finest players. Sure, he's not yet on Rin's level, but there's no reason he can't be in the future. He used to believe catching up with Baro was impossible, so why can't he do the same with Rin? This happens to a lot of folks. We entirely lose sight of how far we've come, and, as a result, doubt our ability to keep moving forward. Anyone who has worked out at a gym will tell you that after a while, growth slows, and it feels as if an advanced physique is entirely out of reach until they understand their current physique would have looked unobtainable a year ago. So, if you ever doubt your ability to attain a given level, just take a look back. You probably used to think the same thing about where you are now, but you got there. So, what's holding you back from doing it again? Well, that's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. We really appreciate your support.